to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Let's start with the disclosure of top secrets and what the president said about that 9 days ago. Here it is.
The notion that my White House would purposely release classified national security information is offensive.
But of course, the president can declassify any information, any classified information that he wants. Simple question. Did the president or any other top official declassify any of the information that appeared in these articles?
Well, the president was very clear about this, Chris, in that interview that he has zero tolerance for this kind of national security leaking. There has now been, by the Attorney General, 2 United States attorneys appointed to investigate this, including a Bush appointee. We take this as seriously as anything can be taken. No one more than the president relies on this information to make good decisions and keep this country safe. I believe the person who wrote the book in question has said that no one in the White House provided this information, but we need a thorough investigation.
No, he has not said that. David Sanger said that, in fact, he did talk to top White House officials. He said it wasn't leaks, that he's been investigating it for months. He did not say that. He, in fact, said he did talk to people in the White House.
Well, for the book, sure. He's a prominent national security reporter, obviously, who's writing about these important issues facing the country. But there's going to be a very thorough investigation. The Attorney General has spoken to this. 2 United States attorneys will look under every rock here. This ought to be investigated as thoroughly as anything can, and we ought to await the results of that investigation.
But I do want to ask you, because you didn't answer my direct question, did the president or any other top official declassify any of the information that appeared in these articles?
No. Listen, the president and his national security team, first of all, these are the folks who've waged just a relentless and effective effort against al-Qaeda and its leadership. We've decimated most of the top leadership, including bin Laden. These national security information is so critical for a president and his administration making the right decisions. Nobody takes it more seriously than the President of the United States.
Forgive me, sir, it's a yes or no question. Did the president declassify any of this information?
No, of course he did. Of course he did.
He did not?
No.
Okay. Let's go through some of the secrets that were disclosed in these articles. The CIA had a double agent inside al-Qaeda in Yemen who foiled a new bomb plot. The president personally approves a kill list of terror suspects for drone strikes, and the U.S. and Israel launched a cyber attack against Iran's nuclear program. Here are some of the people quoted in the articles, not saying that they gave up these secrets, but they're quoted in these articles. National Security Advisor Tom Donilon, former White House Chief of Staff Bill Daley, members of the president's national security team who were in meetings with him in the Situation Room. And the president has no idea who divulged these secrets?
Listen, leaders in our administration, of course they're going to talk about the president's strategic approach to keeping this country safe, our foreign policy, but to suggest somehow that the people that he relies on for advice every day would leak information like this is just absolutely wrong. It's highly objectionable. And listen...
But, sir, they did.
Well, let's...
I'm not saying it's Donilon or Daley, but there are people quoted by these reporters, and they say that they were members of the national security team who were in the Situation Room with the president. Those were the sources.
You're putting up pictures of Tom Donilon and Bill Daley, suggesting somehow that they did something untoward here.
I just said that they are quoted in the articles, but specifically with the quotes about these details, it says members of the national security team.
Well, listen, I see the Capitol behind you right now. Part of what's going on here, the Republicans in Congress were pretty clear at the beginning of this year. What did they say one of their core strategic priorities was to engage in investigations to damage this president politically. Republicans in Congress have talked openly about this. So what you have here is a situation where an investigation has been announced by 2 United States attorneys, including an appointee of President Bush. Way to let that investigation proceed, rather than turning this into some game of distraction. Because what we really need to focus on here is we have to continue to fight against al-Qaeda. We have to continue the progress we've made. We also have to turn our attention as forcefully as we can to the economy and creating jobs. What you're seeing in Washington right now, by the way, there was an amazing article the other day, I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, where Republicans in Congress openly were saying, we're not going to do anything until the election on the economy, because we want to help Mitt Romney. That's an amazing, with an economy that needs help right now, with a middle class that's struggling, it's an amazing thing. And I think you're going to see increasingly these kinds of distractions coming from Republicans in Congress.
You think these are distractions?
Well, my point is, an investigation's been announced. So let's let that proceed rather than trying to suggest...
Let me ask you a couple of specific questions. Yeah. Back in the Valerie Plame investigation in 2003, President Bush ordered any and all members of his administration who knew anything about the outing of Valerie Plame to come forward. Has President Obama made that same kind of order to all of you?
Well, everyone is obviously going to participate in the investigation. You've got, again, 2 United States attorneys that have been appointed by the Attorney General of the United States who are going to look thoroughly into this. They're going to talk to anybody they want to.
Has the President ordered his staff to come forward?
Obviously, everyone is going to participate in the investigation.
Let me ask you, you say everyone's going to participate in the investigation. Back in the Valerie Plame case, President Bush agreed to and sat down for thorough interrogation by federal prosecutors. Will President Obama sit down to be interrogated by prosecutors in this case?
Listen, Chris, I'm not going to get into that right now. The question is, this investigation should be treated seriously. This is going to
why not say yes if he's asked? He'll participate.
I'm not running the investigation, okay? We've got career law enforcement professionals and prosecutors who are going to aggressively look into this. The President and his administration want this investigation to be as thorough as possible.
But will the President cooperate, including agreeing
I'm not going to answer his particular involvement right now, Chris, okay? The point is, everyone in our administration, and I think this probably goes for the agencies as well, of course, is going to cooperate with this investigation.
The White House says that there is no need for an independent prosecutor. You've mentioned a couple of times now that the 2 U.S. attorneys have been appointed by Attorney General Holder to look at that. I want to ask you about this because back in 2006, in the case of lobbyist Jack Abramoff, Senator Barack Obama sent a letter that said this: a special counsel will ensure the public's confidence in the investigation and prosecution and help to restore its faith in our government. If an independent prosecutor was necessary in the Abramoff case, which quite frankly was not a matter of national security, why not an independent prosecutor in the case of our top national secrets?
Well, the Attorney General, who's our top law enforcement officer, as you know, has made a decision about the best way to proceed here. This is a very serious investigation. As again, these are 2 United States attorneys, 1 Bush appointee, who are going to have the ability, as they should, to thoroughly look at this.
But why not an independent prosecutor to, as Senator Obama said, to ensure the public's confidence in the investigation?
Listen, I think most Americans would rightfully think that 2 United States attorneys looking into this with thoroughness, with resources.
Senator Obama didn't think so back in 2006.
Well, that was a different case, Chris. And by the way, to make a light of
the serious case, sir.
Well, there's an investigation proceeding. Okay, so let's let that investigation happen. Let the facts come out.
All right.